Hey, I should be getting audio now. Hey!
And now that you actually missed the beginning of this podcast, along with the other
Let me try it again. Hey! How's everyone doing? Good? Good. We are here, and I'm here with Ruth. I'm actually not here with Andrew. Shocker.
Because
Very
he's
sad.
asleep.
He's asleep because everything went late. I went late. Mostly me.
Yeah, he was here when the podcast was supposed to end.
So much before the podcast.
Yeah.
It probably could have been a whole nother podcast before the podcast.
That's true.
We should have just recorded the whole thing.
Well, no, because...
Well, just redact names.
Right.
Record the whole thing. That would have been wonderful. All the wisdom we had. The 19 and 25-year-old.
24.
Never guess a woman's age.
I really don't care. I don't care.
Baby, it's cold outside.
What does that have to do
Sorry,
with anything?
it sounded like you said it in that. I really don't care. That song is the most misinterpreted song ever.
Yeah.
The modern age thinks, oh, that was a bad song, nasty, oh, horrible. That's not actually what it was. It was a song about modesty. Baby, it's cold outside. About modest, like in your life.
Oh, I was like,
where she's like, I'm gonna have to be convinced to stay because technically at this time of night you're supposed to go home, but I really like this guy, and it was about decency and like not wanting to be the person that does it, and he's being forward. He's like, hey, no, we can still stay a little longer.
It could be looked at either way.
Yeah, but
just like any.
But I think as far as the way the author said it was meant to be written,
it
was meant to be. And in this modern day, we just don't have decency.
Yeah.
We don't have any proper way of doing things.
Yeah, see, that's
a problem. And so now, there's only one conclusion because everything else is okay.
Yeah.
So the only thing she wouldn't be okay with doing is, gonna get you banned on YouTube. So... for saying.
Yes. Plus size, this isn't quite the podcast.
No, that's not the subject. That's not the subject. I just thought I would say that.
That was so random.
Well, see, I had been told multiple times that, this, it's a horrible song when you think about the implications, and then you actually realize what they're actually saying. No, she's just, being coy.
Yeah.
Right? And it's people trying to mess everything up. It's come on.
And that is today's Silas's opinion on old Christmas carols. Old Christmas songs.
All right.
It's technically not a
carol.
carol.
I got more opinions than that. Let's go. No.
No, it's not. This is supposed to be a truth-sharing podcast, not an opinion-sharing podcast.
Actually, it's kind of both.
It's if
I'm being honest.
Truth-inion.
A truth-inion.
I like mixing words.
The Truth-inion podcast. I like that. So, our topic, very fitting. For those of you that are watching it live, which is 0 people, hi, welcome. It's 12:18.
Yes.
Because
we have tent
we weren't
meetings.
able to do it before church. Church started at 7, went a little bit late, and then we had refreshments, and then we had a ton of guests.
Yeah, we did.
That was
from another,
awesome.
a whole bunch of people from a different church.
Basically, an entire church came to our tent meeting.
I love it
scrambling.
when they come.
We ran out of chairs.
I know, we had a lot of lay on more chairs. That was encouraging, though. It's always encouraging when a sister church comes to just encourage, another church.
And it was just so much fun talking to people, reconnecting. But because of that, we got home late, and then we started talking, and you always get ready slower when you're tired. Mm-hmm. So I was slow doing anything. And then... What was that? Why are you laughing at me?
Oh, I'm sorry. It was not directed at anything specific. I just, laugh every once in a while just because I'm oh, yeah.
You're tired.
I'm also very tired, yeah.
Anyway, so we're here And we're just barely hanging on.
So today's topic is very fitting for two reasons. We're talking about endurance. Two reasons. One, we're tired, and we just had a whole conversation of our own, which actually applies
about
to
things
endurance.
that are trying to get us down in our life.
That we have to
things
endure
that
and
are
just
pressuring us in our life, and it's like, we just kind of unloaded on each other about like, this is happening and I don't know what to do with it, and this is happening, and like I kicked my dog and he whimpered and I felt bad, and like
neither of us have dogs, so for the dog lovers out there,
you don't want to dox us. We don't want them to know. We need to keep the viewers guessing.
I have a cat though.
Yay, cats!
But so that it's very fitting for that reason, and the fact that we have to endure through our tiredness because the podcast needs to get out because it was late. Because the second reason it's fitting, we are redoing this podcast.
Yes,
but we didn't have a script the first time, so we're not going to say the same things. Most of this, well, we might say some of the same things, but not in the same way. So we have to, do it again.
Yep.
Yay!
Round 2. So, with that being said, how's your week been?
Good. Overall, it's been good. There's been a couple things that I think, and I honestly think, especially in special meeting times, when God desires to work. I mean, God desires to work all the time. But
with special meetings, you seem to really be in an environment to be accepting to God's work.
Exactly, and I think Satan knows that too. And there have been a couple of things that have been brought up.
Just some trials
this week that I'm just like, not things that have been brought up as far as like, I committed a great sin and I have to get it right. No. Things just like, Satan trying to get me down and discouraged and distracted from what God has for us. For me this week. But honestly, God has been really good. He's been really good. He's been encouraging me in my personal devotions. Mm-hmm. And then I go to church and it's just an encouraging message. And it's just...
Oh, man. I love...
God is so good.
This last sermon.
Yeah, that was so good. It was really good.
And the thing is, it was really about what it is to be lost. But I also realized, I'm like, man, this is kind of applies to the saved as well. This is how you're supposed to live.
Yeah.
It's a good analogy. And I don't know if I even told Mom this, but as far as I can tell, Felicity got saved.
That's awesome.
I was listening to her, and she's saying, I know you died on the cross, and I'm sorry for my sins, and I was like, really? And I prayed about, and then we got back, and she looks up at me, she goes, I'm saved.
That's like, awesome. What? I was praying for her. That was one of the people.
Talking to her.
I was praying
and she's like, yeah, no, that's what I did. I got saved. I asked Jesus into my life. I'm like,
that's exciting.
Yeah!
She was...
Sorry, Andrew.
She was one of the people I was praying for during invitation.
Yes.
I was praying for Felicity and Ben.
She was so close so many times.
Yeah, she's been so tender to the gospel.
And she just did. She's like, oh, come up with me. I'm like, okay.
That's right there is a huge thing to actually have.
She does do it like with joy a lot.
Yeah, but so like.
But she was listening and she understood.
That's. I mean, Brother Hart made it really clear too. Like, oh man, that's exciting. I'll have to ask her about it.
You need to.
Because I've talked to her about salvation before. It's
really cool. So, that is just awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was awesome. And that is something, enduring through raising children so that they'll give their life to the Lord and have more people.
Yeah, I'll have to ask her about and see what she says. And then from here, I mean, she's super young. That doesn't mean she can't get saved. I'm not saying that.
No.
Just
once they're able to understand the difference, once they're old enough to understand, oh, what I did was wrong.
Yeah.
And, oh, that's not what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
You can start talking to them about the gospel. For some people, they won't understand till, they're 10, 12, 13 years old. Others, 5 years old, don't understand it.
And what I was going to say is just watching her, and just seeing what fruit comes out of it. Seeing,
Yes.
how she changes. Because
right
like
now
I said,
she's got an attitude.
Yeah. And I'm not saying she can't be saved. I totally believe if she understands and she knows what's going on, which I believe she does. She's very smart. That if she says she's saved, we have to just take people at their word.
Yep. Lord knows.
Yeah, God knows.
And we don't.
And so I'm curious, and I'm gonna have to ask her about it because I know I've talked to her about it before, and she's like, "Well, yeah, I think so," or "I did it before, and I do it all the time," that kind of thing.
Yeah, but she's like, "Silas, what? I'm saved." I'm like,
yeah, that's cool. All right.
I'm like,
so cool.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
Because I was literally yesterday telling Jonathan, I'm like, it's halfway not Jonathan? Yeah, Jonathan Dwarchek. And I'm like, it's halfway through the year. I asked the Lord to allow me to be part in leading someone to the Lord once a year.
That would be cool if it's your little sister. Like
Felicity, I love her. There'd be times where she'd be screaming. And I would sing by Ben Everson, Everything's Better With You.
Yeah.
Over and over and over to her, calming her down.
Yeah.
And I've always there's just been a special, I love all of my siblings, but there's just a special spot in my heart for her.
See, for me, it's Benjamin.
Yeah.
There's a special spot in my heart for Ben. I'm not sure why, but
yeah.
there is.
And so, I'm if I start hearing about fruit from that, I will just be the most excited man on the planet.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I also got to witness to a girl.
Yep.
In Appleton.
So are you gonna save that for your what's making you happy?
Oh yeah, because I said that before.
We did the same thing
but
last time.
But there's no audio.
Yeah.
So let's get into endurance.
Yeah.
We
have to
got some experience on this.
Yeah. We have to kind of start from the beginning here.
Remember, it's pretty easy to define. Remember?
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up anyway. Just to
I
read
remember it.
Oh, you do? Well,
yeah, just by memory.
Okay.
So to persevere and through trial and suffering specifically.
Yeah.
Right. So perseverance is just like sticking to your stuff, sticking to your values. And that was one thing we kind of got hung up on that. It's like, wait, whoa, what's the difference between perseverance and endurance? The difference is perseverance. It's sticking to your stuff, sticking to
all
your
the
guns.
time.
Whatever you're doing, I'm gonna do it, and we're gonna get this done. Whereas endurance is when there's suffering, you keep going.
Yeah.
When there's bad times, you keep going. When it's really hard, you keep going.
Yeah.
And it's about the act of just keep going.
And it's a biblical thing too, because 2 Timothy 2:3 says, "Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Jesus Christ." So we are supposed to endure. Not to say problems. If there's a problem, it can't be dealt with. No, deal with the problem. But there are times where God just says, "Endure."
Yeah.
I want you to endure. I'll take care of the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's true. I think there's been. Well, I'm gonna have difficulty in the next month is gonna just be chaos for me.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have to somehow be able to get through it.
It already has been chaos.
Yes.
Because we're trying to get the podcast worked out.
Trying to get the podcast worked out while trying to make meetings happen while me trying to. It's been.
Trying to get a movie done for camp.
Oh, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to continue to endure that, and I don't know exactly how that's gonna happen. Oh, we have one viewer, probably Joy. Mm-hmm.
Hey, whoever you are, viewer, would you please tell us who you are?
Yes. Who be thou?
I mean, could be
also,
Becca,
hello.
Too.
Good to see you. Good to have
at this
a
late
viewer.
hour.
Good to have a viewer at 12:30.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's not common unless you're like a gamer.
or a Knutson.
It's 0. It was
Aww.
Becca. She's the type to go in and out.
That's sad. Oh well.
No, but
we'll endure through this heartache.
This is 50% chord in my mind, because it's like, I don't expect people to be here.
Exactly.
But yeah. So this is something we need to think about is, how are we supposed to endure? Because, like, we defined it pretty quickly, pretty easily. It's pretty, to understand what endurance is, it's pretty easy. It's running when you have cramps. It's, doing push-ups when your muscles hurt. It's doing your sets when you can't do it anymore. It's, But how? The what is easy. But how is hard, and I feel like the why would be even more important than the how.
Yeah, and I don't remember a lot of what we said last time, only because we were in the middle of kind of crazy things, and I was in not a great headspace as far as, like, I felt like, I wasn't really tired, but it's that kind of idea where it's like, okay, I'm talking about this, but my brain's not really comprehending anything. But these verses, I think, apply. So these are the theme of camp and the theme of the movie we made for camp this year. Wherefore, seeing we are also Hebrews 12, 1 and 2, as to how to endure.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and why. Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, that's the why, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doth so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us. That's the how. But the how continues in verse 2. Looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, and this is why we look to Jesus, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of God. So we get why, how, why.
So,
which
if something is hard and it's not going to help you bring glory to God, worth it.
There really is no point.
Just no reason. Just like, you know what? We're good. End of story.
Yeah.
Quit. Move on.
Because that's what as a child of God, that's our main, we, as Christians, as a child of God, we're running a spiritual race. And our main point is to give honor and glory to God.
Yeah.
And that's, should be the reason why we endure things. Another verse along the lines, this is the one that I pray over every day, is Ecclesiastes 9:10. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might. Yeah. For there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave whither thou goest. We have this life. We need to work. We have
this life, and that's it.
Endure.
After this life, it's over.
There's another verse that says...
10 out of 10 people don't come out alive.
Actually, I know what verse it is. I'm pretty sure I know what verse it is. Yeah. It's in 1 Corinthians. I think it's chapter 10. Nope.
Well, which one?
It's...
Because we both memorized that.
Yeah, whether you eat or drink or whatsoever you do all to the glory of God.
Okay.
It's something verse 30, I think. I can't believe I can't remember, because I should have it memorized, because I did at one point.
Anyway. So we probably get the gist of it.
Yeah. I still want to find it.
So, okay, cool.
Okay, I can't find it. Never mind. I could be totally wrong on the book too. It could.
So,
something else.
With that being said, how
do we endure? Well, I guess going through.
We'll see. The first thing he said. Well, the first thing he said. I think we both have it memorized. He, the guy who wrote the book, is laying aside every weight.
Yeah, that sounds.
So that is.
Yes, that is
talking
the first
about.
thing.
Yeah, I just
this. Well, I know. So did I. I just wanted to make sure.
Okay.
Sometimes things.
So laying aside every weight. What's that referring to?
That would be any distraction or anything that's hindering us from accomplishing our goal. So, in order to endure and to keep pressing through obstacles to get to our goal, we need to lay aside anything that's distracting, put it away. So, for example, Bible reading, any spiritual kind of growth.
Yeah.
if you're trying to read your Bible, don't read it on your phone.
Yeah, well, if it's difficult.
If it's difficult, yeah. Some people don't get distracted.
If you're having trouble reading your Bible, your phone is just
that's
going to
be the weight thing that will easily
because
it's just the weight.
You know, it's hey, I'm going to be spiritual. You open your Bible app, boom, notification,
and you're gone.
You're gone.
Yeah.
Your entire morning's gone, actually. And that's a huge problem with me. It's so hard. I'll be reading my Bible, going through it, and then boom, notification. Oh, that's important. Let me see that.
Yeah.
Gone. 100% gone. So yeah, like if your goal, read my Bible. Just don't have your phone in the room.
Yeah.
Right.
Or just put it on silent.
Yeah, and with prayer, I think same thing.
Same thing, yeah.
Find place. That's why God said go in a closet. You don't want distractions. You don't want to be where people are seeing you, and you don't want to be.
Well, some people think it's literal. Some people think it's.
Well, I don't think it's 100% literal.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say where it's like you are required to always be in a closet to
have your space and your time.
The idea is, it's away from everyone else.
Yes.
It's you and God.
Yep.
And with our cell phones,
it's not.
Everyone's right there.
Exactly.
And so I would say if you're gonna pray, especially if you have difficulties with it, try doing it without having your cell phone in the room. Yeah. Right?
Mm-hmm. Prayer. I'm just trying to think of how this. I mean, it does relate to endurance.
Right. And so
I guess
all of those, distractions, weights, sins.
Yeah.
But then, if you're going through something hard, because that's kind of just a general advice on how to live the Christian life, not really how to endure.
Exactly, that's what I was thinking.
So it's, wonderful verse.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But when you're enduring, you could even be, are you?
No, I'm looking at the context of 2 Timothy 2:3 to see if there's any help. No, I'm listening.
No, it's wonderful.
I'm sorry. I just want to see if there's anything in 2 Timothy 2:3 that says endure, if there's any instruction as to how.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you are trying to endure, it is really important that that you know why you're doing it. Right? Mm-hmm. And that's a big thing, is you need the why. When it comes to, because otherwise things are really hard. Like we were just talking about this, where it's hard for me and you to get up to an alarm or to anything if we don't have a reason, right? And it's something that you need a reason to do it. Mm-hmm. All right, so making commitments early in the morning, that's a good reason to get up. So so if you're having trouble like reading the Bible, find a reason.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reasons just in the Bible alone to read the Bible.
Yeah.
So find a reason. And then going through that a lot easier.
Yeah.
But also, if you're going through something and you just want to quit, you need to find a reason to keep going.
Yeah. So verse 3 says, "Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Jesus Christ." Verse 4 says, "No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life." So again, there's that weight and that sin which doth so easily beset us, that he may please him who hath chosen him to be a soldier.
Yeah.
And so, I guess what we were talking about does apply to enduring, because, this life is not without its pain. This life is a race. This life is a war.
And this life is a tragedy.
And we have so many. We fight against the world, the flesh, and the devil. Those are Christians' main enemy.
Yeah.
Main enemies.
But our own flesh, not anyone else's.
Oh, right. Yes.
That's a big thing, is we wrestle not against flesh and blood. Because a lot of times we see different people, it's like, oh, they're horrible. They're a terrible
but
person.
But that's not what...
And, probably could be legitimately true. That's not our focus.
Exactly.
It has nothing to do with us.
Exactly. And so I think, how to endure... First of all, you have to remember, I think, why you're enduring, who we are enduring for. So we're, it says endure hardness as good soldiers of Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
We're enduring because we are soldiers in God's army. We are fighting against evil and for the good.
Yeah.
We are not fighting against the good to get better.
Yeah.
We're fighting against the evil and with the good.
Well, and at the end of the day, when you're trying to be enduring something, and it's really hard, one other piece of advice is to keep going.
Yeah. Well, and I was going to add to what I was saying is we're also fighting with Jesus.
Yeah.
And for him. Because he ultimately, he will give us the strength to endure. And so I think if we want to know how, we have to start with remembering who we're doing this for.
Applying that practically. Because I'm a man, I love application.
Yeah.
Because often...
I do too. Coming up with it is hard.
I'm really...
Sometimes.
See, for me, I'm really good at talking.
Okay.
I'm really good at being philosophical. I'm really good at being theoretical. I'm really good at all of that. There's some people hate that so much.
Yeah.
I love it.
I do too.
But what I'm horrible at is application.
Well, that's why we usually have Andrew.
Yeah, because Andrew's great at application.
Okay, so application.
And so...
How to apply
for this.
Apply endurance.
I think one of the things is keep going.
Yep.
You need to... First, you need to know the why.
Yep.
Why are we doing this?
It should be for the Lord.
And if you have a good reason for doing it, keep going.
Yeah. Don't quit.
You're always stronger than you think you are. And the Lord always has more strength than you think he can give.
Yes. My grace is sufficient for thee, and my strength is made perfect in weakness.
Yeah. And
Most
so...
gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities.
And so, when we're having difficulties doing stuff, we have to remember, why are you doing this? It's like, okay, I'm doing this because my family needs to eat. Okay, yeah, keep going.
Yeah.
I'm doing this because this is somewhere I really want to be in 10 years. Keep going.
Yeah.
If you can't come up with a good reason for doing something that's really hard, don't do it. Just quit right away. I don't care how much money or time you've sunk into it.
Yeah.
Get out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
I've heard of so many people, well, I've already started. I'm already doing this. I don't care.
Yeah.
You'll be worse in the long run.
That's what helps to pray about everything.
Well, yeah.
Because then God will let you know if you're doing something for a good reason or if you're just doing it because you just want to do it and it's a waste of your time.
Yeah. And so, that's the biggest thing is how. Sometimes the answers don't. Sometimes don't endure. Just stop. There's been multiple things where I've just dropped them completely. Like martial arts. I tried one out just recently and I'm like, I'm gonna wait.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait because it's just not worth enduring right now. And so a big thing is know when not to endure.
So priorities.
Yep. Because when something is hard and it's suffering and it's painful and you just have to keep going, that's very taxing.
It is.
So you have to know that this is a good idea.
Yeah.
Before you ever decide.
Before
you commit to doing it.
Yeah.
And the second thing is keep going. And this is actually the hardest one to apply.
Yeah.
Because you have to, in your gut, decide to keep going.
Yeah.
There's so many times where I am just like, no, I'm done. I cannot go any further. It's it. It's over. We're done. I can't. And there's been a few times where because of the situation, that wasn't an option. I'm like,
yeah,
I guess I'll die. And so I just keep going. And you know what?
It was fine. Yeah, exactly.
I'm not dead.
Yeah.
Because you there's they have sayings and like hippy dippy Gen Z new age stuff like, you are so much stronger than you know. You are so much more capable than you think you are. But they're actually true.
Yeah.
They're actually right. Not quite in the way they think they are.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, you can do anything
with your mind and your perspective and what you think, what you're focusing on. For example, like, if you're trying to do something like cleaning your house, washing the dishes, folding laundry, or something like exercising, whether both are either routine or it's just like, oh, I do this all the time, or like exercising is painful.
Yeah.
You just have to try and
find eating
ways,
right.
Or eating right. That's difficult things.
That's hard for me.
Yeah.
And like, people wouldn't tell because I'm a kid with a good metabolism.
Yeah.
But like, my teeth show it.
Yeah.
And like, it's so hard to eat correctly and to just keep on doing that.
Mm-hmm. To actually fuel your body with good nutrients and good food, as opposed to just shoving junk down your throat.
And so I think part of endurance is delaying your gratification.
Yeah, that's true. Because and a couple things I would say. For things like housework and stuff, one mind thing you can do to help you get through it is make it fun. Find some way to make it fun, make it enjoyable.
Yeah, improve your situation.
Yeah, improve your situation.
Even if you have to go through it, improve it so it's not as damaging or as hard as it would if you didn't
your mindset.
Improve it.
Things like eating healthy, okay, for me, it's very difficult to start. Once I start, I enjoy it because I have to shift my mind to start, to be like, okay, no, this is good for me. It's going to keep me from getting health problems that have been passed down in our family.
Yeah.
It's going to keep me from getting too overweight to the point where I can't do anything, or possibly prevent children. You know, there's so many things, and it's just, it'll help me to be a better version of me, a better version that God wants me to be. I can better serve others. I can better serve God. You know, there's so many good reasons for eating healthy. And that's how I have to just start eating healthy. Now, once I start eating healthy and I stay consistent with it, I feel better. I can actually feel the physical results. I see the physical results. Yeah. And then it's encouraging.
Yeah,
then it's like, okay.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Especially if you're doing something hard.
Yeah.
Is a lot of times things that are hard are working towards a goal. And notice any improvements. Whether it's, hey, I'm dealing with this family thing, and hey, the family's getting along better. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Right? Or, hey, I'm really trying to do my job well, and it's just so hard, and I want to quit. It's like, hey, are you doing your job better than you did last week? Well, yeah. There. Boom.
Yeah.
Victory.
Looking for the little victories.
Look for the tiny victories. Because when you are struggling, and when you are hurting, and you are just trying to go through things, it can be so discouraging. To just be like,
now here's something
isn't ever working.
Yeah, here's something I just thought of, actually. Something I've learned, actually, recently that's helped me endure. So we're talking about hurting. Sometimes rest is a part of endurance. In fact, all the time.
That's
okay. Let me expound a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, endurance. Now I'm not saying take a vacation or like sleep 24/7.
I mean, but also maybe.
I mean, maybe, but you can't if you cut yourself and you don't do anything with the wound, you just kind of let it be, and you just let it go, and you don't take care of it. It has a higher chance of infection, has a higher chance of, dirt,
also
germs,
just bleeding out.
Yeah, and that too. Well, you have to say, well, I'm just going to endure through the pain and not worry about it. Okay, you have to take care of your cut.
That's called being stupid.
Yeah, that's called being stupid. But the same goes, though, emotionally.
Yeah.
And spiritually.
That's true. And that goes back to sometimes you shouldn't just endure.
Right. And that's something that I have learned recently about myself that God is helping me understand. Is we're not supposed to be offended. The Bible says that great peace have they which love the law, and nothing shall offend them. That means the Bible's saying if you're offended, you don't love God's word like you should.
Yeah, and if you're offended, it's a you problem.
Yeah. So, I'm not saying you need to be offended. I'm not encouraging being offended. And I'm not encouraging being offensive either, because the Bible's might say about that.
Sometimes you just will get offended.
Well, the Bible says that offenses will come.
We're human.
Yeah, the Bible says offenses will come. Although it does say after that, woe to the man by whom the offense cometh.
Yeah, so don't try to offend people.
Yeah. You can't just try to offend people and say, well, you don't love God's word because you're offended. Like, no, that's not how the Bible works.
No.
But that doesn't mean you won't get hurt.
Yeah.
You can choose not to let your hurt become an offense.
Yeah.
I think offense and anger and bitterness come when we allow that hurt to fester, when we don't deal with it properly, when we don't take care of it. So I found for me, if I have been hurt by somebody else, I'm like, oh, that hurt. Like, even, because especially when I know they didn't mean to.
Yeah.
When I am like, oh, they didn't realize that, what I have to do, or even if they didn't realize it in a way of, like, they should have, but they didn't.
Yeah.
First of all, that's not our place to correct them. It's
not our place to judge whether they should have or not should
right,
have realized
exactly. And so, something that I have learned about myself is I have to step back from that situation or that relationship just for a little while. Just spend time with God and let Him heal my wound. Or heal the cut. Sometimes it's not a wound. Sometimes it's just a cut. It's just like, oh, yeah, that hurt.
And sometimes we're just being a little overly dramatic about a scratch.
Yeah, that is true. But even, it's Reagan Long's.
Oh, or if you'll see this, but sometimes helping others helps you endure. Yes. Okay, that's
that's
I'm actually gonna finish. Huge. Okay,
that is true. I've learned that in my life. I'm gonna
finish, and then I want to expound on that.
So do I, because I've learned that. That's so good. That's so good. Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, even a scratch. That's why you take it to God, and He will let you know.
He'll be like, "You're good. Go."
Yeah, but that's something I've learned is when even when you get hurt, you have to endure the pain, but you don't have to allow it to sit there.
Also, I would say you really don't.
Well, you take it to God and you let Him heal you. And then you move on.
Because if it's just pain, then the best thing to do, let go. Let go, give it to God, and be done.
Exactly. But still enduring and keeping faithful and pressing through on what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. But and I think that's more like to the moving on. I think if you watch our podcast on, like, new beginnings and how to keep going. I really liked it. And that will really help with...
Yeah. But I mean, that it is part of endurance, too. Like, for me, I have to rest sometimes from certain things.
Yeah.
To allow God to work in my life so that I can endure on.
Yeah, and so I would say that helps with enduring in other ways. But what Reagan said is huge. Thank you, Reagan Lowenstein, for the comment. Absolutely. So he says, I don't know if you already covered it or if you'll see this, but... sometimes helping others helps you to endure your own problems. It allows you to focus on others' problems rather than your own. That's true. Because a lot of times, our problems become so big to us.
That's very true.
We think our problems are so hard and so difficult that it's just impossible that we could ever get through this. And that's not true.
And Galatians 6 talks about that.
Yeah. About
bearing one another's burdens. There are some burdens that we're meant to bear alone, but there are some that God is like, no, you need to, yes, take care of your own responsibilities, but you need to be helping other people. That is true. That does help a lot when you're focused on how can I assist this person in their time of need.
Because a lot of times when we get down on ourselves, we start closing off and focusing inwards and just like,
yes. Which is why I said bring things to God instead of overthinking them, because
and so that is true. When you are trying to get through things, sometimes helping people is the best distraction.
Yes.
Right? It's something where you go, all right, I know I have problems and I have to work through and I have stuff that's difficult. Let me find someone else who also has problems. They don't have to be the same problems.
Yeah.
I might not have any clue what they're going through, but I just want to find someone else to help.
And sometimes in helping other people, you will find the solution to your own problem.
And if not the solution, you'll find the peace
to
handle your own problem.
Exactly.
And that is huge. And so, yeah, that's so true, is bring your problems to God and then help someone else that has problems. Help them through theirs. And maybe you guys can help each other.
Exactly.
Right? Maybe it can be, but at the end of the day, when you are trying to endure, the biggest thing is realizing why. When you realize why, then quitting is not an option. And if quitting is an option, take that.
Yeah.
Like, for real, if you are hurting, and there is an option there's an option to stop the hurt, a good option?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Quit. We're done. That's it. It's not worth it. Right? And so...
Yeah, that's another good verse that...
Philippians 2:4 says, look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others. So there's another one from Reagan Longside. That
goes along with the let every man bear one of their burdens. And then later on in the chapter it says, let everyone bear his own burdens.
Yeah, and so it's saying we need to take responsibility for what happens in our life.
Yeah.
But we should also be helping each other.
Yeah.
And I think endurance becomes a lot easier when you have other people.
Yeah.
I've heard like people that are racing, when they're practicing on their own, it's so hard to keep going.
Yeah.
But when you have a bunch of guys around you just like, no, let's keep going,
That's
going. We
true.
can do
I
it.
think encouragement.
You can get so much further.
Yeah.
And it's insane. You can go faster, you can go further.
Yep.
You can do so much more. And so...
That's why the Bible talks about iron sharpening iron, too.
Absolutely.
We're supposed to edify and encourage the brethren.
Yeah, and so you can really help one another when you are together. And so if you are trying to endure something and you might be discouraged or having difficulties, one, know why you're doing it. If there's any option other than endurance that would still give honor and glory and praise to God just as well or better, then it's not worth it.
So that's God's way of saying, get out.
If it wasn't God's will to start it in the first place, I don't care how much you put into it, quit. It's not worth it. But if it's worth it, if you know why you're doing it, then don't quit.
Yep.
Keep your eyes forward, not down.
Yep.
Right? A lot of times our eyes are down. Like, this problem.
Keep your eyes on Christ first of all.
This problem. You have to keep your eyes up. I'm looking at Christ.
And I think...
I'm looking at the path ahead.
He will direct you to other people, too, that need your help.
Exactly. And the other thing is, help each other. Come alongside. Hey, how are you doing? That was like 50% of our conversation before the podcast started.
Yeah.
Man, what's going on? Oh, man, I'm dealing with this and this and this. Man, yeah. Me too. It's like, that's huge, and it helps you endure so much more.
Yeah, and there's actually, I have a good example of that, too, a real-life example. And at one point when I was going through, like, just dealing with some things that I was struggling with, just trying to figure some things out as far as, like, life situation and still working through things, I made a friend that really actually helped me and encouraged me. Chandra Foster.
Oh, yeah. We are actually going to have her husband on here at some point.
Oh, good. Good.
He got the banana.
Oh. he's been a good encouragement too. So we actually got to meet up with them Saturday, and we ended up sitting and talking at the restaurant for 3 hours.
Wow.
But they're good
I mean, like, I
example of,
believe
like,
it.
Yeah.
A young couple.
We didn't know them, super well. And we knew Jonathan from camp, but then one day I was like, I just need to stop being afraid, and I just need to text Chandra.
Yeah,
so I did.
That was a time where you kind of needed a friend.
Yeah, and she was that friend for me, and it turns out she needed a friend too.
It's almost like God knew.
Yes.
What are the
Actually,
odds?
Jonathan said that he was telling Chandra that he thought her and I would get along really well. And my mother-in-law told me the same thing. She's like, oh, I think you and Chandra would get along great. And, like, I hardly said anything to her at camp last year just because I was kind of, like, nervous or afraid.
Yeah.
Same thing, the reason why she didn't talk to me very much.
Y'all,
she just wasn't sure.
Y'all are
like,
twinning.
I was like, man. And so we got to know each other over Snapchat, actually. I don't have Snapchat anymore, but that's our messenger. And it just turns out that God knew. And God knew the timing because at that particular moment, she needed a friend. At that particular moment, I needed a friend. And we were able to encourage each other and help each other endure through some of the things that we were working through, and that's just
so cool how the Lord works.
And just even we were just talking about just different things that are going on in our life now, just couple on couple, and me and Andrew when we were talking to Jonathan Chandra, and just I felt very edified and refreshed leaving the conversation because we were able to come alongside each other and be like, you're dealing with this, I'm dealing with something similar. And this is how what God's been showing me through this situation. I'm like, hey, God's been showing me that through this situation too. And it's very encouraging to have a friend.
That's the best way to endure.
Yeah.
Is to have other people that love the Lord that say, hey, you can come out the other side.
Yeah, thanks for pointing that out, Reagan.
Yeah.
That was a very good point that we probably wouldn't have thought of on our own.
Don't focus on your own problems.
Yeah.
Don't focus on the more you focus on them, the bigger they get.
That is very true.
The less you focus on them, the smaller they get.
Yeah.
So if you're in church, which you should be in church, help out around your church. Find someone that needs to be prayed for. Start praying for their problems.
Yeah.
And not
keep a prayer list.
Yeah, don't focus on other
Don't
problems.
be creepy
don't be gossiping.
Yeah. Don't be creepy and into everybody's personal business.
Yeah, no.
Let nobody me pray for this.
Nobody wants to be the prayer meeting women. Yeah. We need to have a prayer meeting because I was told that Sarah over there was over talking to Jeff, and Jeff's married, so I'm not saying anything. We just need to pray for him. That's not
what we're talking about, praying for other people's problems. Don't make up problems for people and then pray
don't make up problems to pray for.
But even if somebody doesn't tell you what the problem is, just be willing to ask somebody what you can pray for them about. Or if you just happen to notice somebody that's, doesn't look as happy as normal, or, seem like they're struggling, just be like, hey, are you okay? Is there anything you want to talk about?
Yeah.
But then always pray for them, though. Always. That's, I think, one of the biggest encouragements for me is when somebody tells me I was praying for you. Especially if it's at the moment that I needed it. And I didn't ask for them. I'm like, that's cool. That God is burdening somebody else on my behalf.
Yeah.
Which happened actually when I got saved. That's
right.
I had a friend after I got saved telling me, she's like, I wasn't sure if I was going to tell you this, but God has been burdening my heart for the past several days that you need to get saved, and I've been praying for you. And I was just like, whoa, because I had just asked God. I was like, okay, Lord, I know I'm saved now, but just a little bit of confirmation would be super nice just to seal the deal.
It's hilarious. I've seen it
God
many
was
times.
so gracious.
Where as soon as someone starts praying, immediately the burden starts going on someone else.
Yeah.
The church I'm now a part of, that I'm going to be a member of, and I'm going to be helping out at, the day I visited, he started praying for someone to help him in the ministry.
That's crazy.
The same time when the Lord's like, hey, what about that church? I was like, he was like, Lord, we need someone. And I was like,
yeah.
That was after I'd already decided to start going.
Mm-hmm.
So it had nothing to do with deciding to go.
Yeah.
But I was just like, the Lord's just like, soon as you ask
You're
me,
the man for the job.
I'm going. No. It's just as soon as he asks me, I'll find whoever, because there are more qualified men than me. Anyway.
But you're whoever.
I'm whoever. Whosoever. Yeah.
Whosoever will may come. You're like, I may come. Here I is. And he's like, good, we'll
I'm
get you to
a
work.
whosoever. But yeah. So.
That's cool.
It's a huge thing. It's just, don't focus on.
Yeah.
Focus on the Lord and focus on others.
Mm-hmm.
Joy.
Jesus, others, and you. I was just
love
thinking that.
Joy. Jesus and others and you.
What wonderful way to spell joy.
Jesus and others and you.
In the life of each girl and each boy.
J is for Jesus, for he is first place. O is for others you meet face to face. Y is for you in whatever you do. Put yourself third and spell joy.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah.
It's so true, though.
It's very true. And
that will help you endure, because there's a reason bigger than yourself that you're going through this.
Ooh, that's a good point. I like that.
Right? When it's only for you, then endurance is not the best
pointless.
thing to do.
Yeah.
But when
you're doing it for other people, like
have a reason other than you.
Honestly, that's something that God has been showing me a lot this week, even with tent meetings.
Yeah.
It's like, despite whatever problems come up or whatever things that are like heavy on my mind, I'm just like, what? God has shown me when I when I still take the time every day to spend time with Him, and when I'm open to what He has for me at the meetings, every night I leave and I feel at peace. Like, my heart is peaceful.
Yeah.
And God just saying, you're walking with me, you're doing what's right, and honestly, that in itself is an answer to prayer.
Yeah.
Because before the meetings, I was asking God for a week of encouragement, and to know if I'm going the wrong way, if I'm doing something that needs to be changed, like He would show me. But if I'm going the right way, if I'm listening and I'm hearing and I'm understanding what He's telling me to do, and I'm obeying the way He wants me to, that He would just confirm that.
Yeah.
And He has, and it's such, even though there's, annoyances that come up, mm-hmm. I can leave the meetings, and I can leave just that time at peace.
Yeah.
And so that God's got this.
When you're enduring, know that God's got this. And if God's not in it, don't be in it.
Yeah.
But when it's hard and there's suffering and you don't know what to do, and you feel like you're in a twisted roller coaster, just know, hey, God's got this, and don't focus on it. Mm-hmm. Don't focus on your problems.
Don't focus on yourself.
What can I do
either.
for the Lord?
Yeah.
What can I do for others?
Yep. And God will take. Often God will take care of the problem.
You.
Yeah.
Like Solomon, he could have asked for anything. He asked for wisdom. God said, "Since you didn't ask for something for you, I'm giving you stuff anyway."
Yeah. God will take care of you. He'll take care of your problems,
mm-hmm.
and you will be so much happier, and you'll be at peace while enduring. It won't even feel like you're enduring because God's doing the hard part.
Yeah. So, I guess we'd end with this: cast your burdens on Him.
Cast your care
upon Him, for He careth for you.
Casting your care upon Him, for He careth for you. That's how you call it. 1 Peter 5:7.
Take my yoke upon me and learn
upon
of
you
me.
And learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls.
And my burden is light.
He said, I said.
Yeah, Paul, the epitome of endurance, wrote to the churches in order to help them while he was in prison.
That's true. That's
true.
That's a very good point.
He endured so much shipwreck, stoning, and
his care and concern was for the churches and for the people.
His worry had nothing to do with his situation. It had to do, are the people I'm pouring my life into serving God?
Yeah. That's true.
That should be our focus.
And when you focus on that, you're so much happier. And God blesses that. And honestly, I think God blesses that, and you'll be more fruitful. Because then, especially if people know you're going through something, but you're choosing to follow God and serve God and serve others, despite your circumstances, that alone speaks volumes.
Okay, the sweetest people I know are people that are going through things.
Yeah,
There's
I agree.
been girls who some ladies I've talked to, like Tressa,
Yeah.
and this one lady I talked to that goes to Wildwood, and they're just the
Even Mrs.
sweetest
Jocelyn.
people. Mrs. Jocelyn is so sweet.
Yeah.
And you talk to them, they have so much that they're dealing with. And they're not talking about it.
No.
They're talking about stuff that the
like
Lord is doing. They're
the
talking
comfort
about
that
how-
God brings.
Yeah.
There.
And so, if you're going
Life,
through stuff,
yeah.
don't focus on it.
Yeah.
Focus on God, focus on others. And God will see you through.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we've come up with 2 conclusions here, which is, 1, keep your eyes on God and others is a good way to endure. And 2, we need to have Reagan on the podcast. That
Yeah, that's
needs
a good.
to happen.
Also, funny thing, because I'm really tired. You're like, you read the last comment said, epitome. My brain, when I read that, said epitome.
Epitome.
It's just like,
I mean, it kind of...
because I was thinking, okay, because this is Paul I was thinking like epistles, and this and this, so then my brain.
Paul the epitome.
So then I was thinking he was saying something about Paul's epistles. And so that's how my brain was raised. I'm like, epitome, what? And then you read the comment, and you're like, the epitome is like, oh duh, that's what that says.
Paul the epitome. I am Paul the epitome at your service. I was an epitome, but then I rose.
Oh wow. He's
Alright.
the epitome of an epitome.
You're an epitome. Take that.
Oh my
That could be a new
goodness.
word. It actually sounds like a real word.
It does.
Epitome. How would you spell that?
Just like that. Epitome.
That might get
Add a B at the end. Before the E.
tomb.
But then I really think it says
Epitome.
epitome. Oh well, it doesn't matter.
Anyway, so let's end this
Yeah.
with first of all, thank you, Reagan, for watching. I'm definitely going to be talking to you and forcing you. If I have to, like, I know where to get a pair of handcuffs. So you're not escaping.
me
You're
on
going to
them?
be on the podcast. What? What did you say?
Stick me on him.
Just
Just stick him, Ruth.
tackle.
Sorry. Oh
we
my
got
goodness.
tackle football
Okay, guys.
going on in the church.
Now that we've figured out our conclusion for the serious part,
You're back to weirdo.
it's that time of night where it's like, sleep happy. Oh,
Oh,
he
no.
said, oh no.
Oh no. Oh yes.
He's worried. Not really, I
Oh,
don't
he
think.
should be. He should be worried.
Oh.
I'm crazy.
I was
I'm
talking about
insane.
sticking me on him. I was being sarcastic.
Oh no,
I
no.
don't
He's
think he
probably
should
worried
worry.
about that too. It's cooties.
Thanks.
Okay. So, Ruth, what's making
Currently this.
I didn't even finish.
I know, that's what's making me happy.
Oh my goodness.
Okay,
I'm
I will
so
try and
unhinged.
contain myself for the last few minutes. Yes. Dear brother of
I
mine.
didn't even say anything. Okay, what is making you happy? What are you grateful for
honestly,
in this week?
like I was talking about, the tent meetings have been
yeah.
a huge, huge thing.
Yeah.
And God has shown me, along with the tent meetings, He has just confirmed some things that He's shown me before in my Bible reading, in my recent Bible reading, that I need to continue doing what I'm doing. Can I share a verse that I read in my Bible reading that I was like, this is cool?
How long is said verse?
Oh, it's not very long.
Okay, cool.
It's
Awesome.
Psalm.
Go ahead,
oh,
share.
great.
It's
Oh,
something you're
thank-
happy about.
Uh-oh. Am I gonna forget which... I wrote it down. Oh, it's 30.
30?
34, I think.
34. Guys,
Or
it's 34.
something. That's where I am
It's-
in the Psalms right
it is
now.
Psalms 30 something. Look it up. The one that says,
That's a good chapter too, but that's not the one I'm looking. Okay, you say what you're happy about,
Okay.
and I will
so
I will look this
so
up here.
what I'm really I really did like the meetings as well.
Mm-hmm.
But what really made me just excited and happy today, this week, was on Monday. I was doing DoorDash in Appleton, like I normally do. And there was I was sitting down at the mall. It's usually very busy. And I really wasn't getting many orders.
Oh, I found it.
Like, way less orders than I normally get. And so I was just sitting down in the middle of the mall, just waiting for orders. And then another girl sat down at a couch just on the other side of me. And she's just sitting there, kind of scrolling on her phone. I kind of was. I'm like, And then the Holy Spirit's just like, hey, talk to her. I'm like, why? Why do I need... It's like, okay, fine. I'll be able to talk to her, even though it's weird and awkward.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, all right. So I was like, hey, I like your boots. And she's like, oh, yeah, thanks. And then I was like, oh, we're talking. And she had hurt her legs at a dance party. And I was like, oh, that's weird. It was Life Fest.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, not great, but it's Christian. It's Christian. So, well, but that gave me an opportunity.
Yeah.
It gave me an opportunity. I was like, okay, so are you guys, are you a Christian?
Mm-hmm.
She goes, well, my mom is. It's like, I don't know what I think about it. And turns out she goes to just the worst church. Just dumb.
Yeah.
It's basically the Illuminati, but they call themselves Christians.
That's so weird.
Like, they're afraid of all these conspiracies, and, this is gonna happen, and everything's horrible, oh no, like, fear.
Yeah.
Lots of fear. And she just didn't know she understood it. And so then, so I was able to tell her, okay, yeah, what you're talking about, that's not Christians.
Yeah.
Not at all. What you're talking about is people that are religious.
Yeah.
And I was able to go through what is a Christian, and I was able to explain it to her. The Lord gave me wisdom to remember verses just from memory, and to think about, what is this? How does it apply? And from there, I was able to go, okay, so we know what it isn't. What is a Christian? And then I was able to tell her what it was.
Yeah.
And who God was, and who Jesus was, why he exists.
That's so cool.
Why he had to come to die.
Yeah.
And, like, all of it. And I'm just so pumped.
Yeah.
And then, which is so cool because we did this a day after, yesterday, I was able to witness to another guy.
I haven't heard of this
guy
story.
that came for the second time to victory.
Yeah.
And me and Jonathan and William, we were all three able to witness this guy.
That's so cool.
And I don't know how much he understood. He seemed a little bit out of it. He was saying he had, like, drug problems and stuff.
Oh, okay.
But I think he understood some of it.
That's cool.
Right? And it's so cool. And then, just today, I was able to possibly, and I don't like to assume anyone's salvation.
Yeah.
But from what my little sister said, my little sister, Felicity, got saved today.
Yeah, that's really cool.
What? This is insane. I got a witness to two people and one other person that I've witnessed to before. I witnessed to Felicity before. She got saved.
Yeah.
I am just so spiritually, like, this
excited, is
which is hilarious because I witnessed to someone and then I went to tent meetings and then I witnessed to someone and then I went to tent meetings.
I witnessed to something. There's a chair in my apartment.
Chair, you need the Lord. You are broken. You are torn down. I do actually have a broken chair.
Anyways, that's
but yeah, that is what's making me happy. It's so awesome. All right, what about you?
Okay, so Psalm 41 verses 9 and 10. Yea, mine own familiar friend in whom I trusted, which should eat of my bread, hath lifted up his heel against me. But thou, O Lord, be merciful unto me, and raise me up, that I may requite them. So, most of this chapter is talking about his enemies. And like, God, destroy my enemies, because they're trying to kill me. But this is what I found interesting. This is what God encouraged me with in my Bible reading a couple days ago. Verse 9 talks about his own familiar friend, like somebody I know, somebody I love, somebody that's close to me, somebody that's probably a child of God.
Yeah.
If he's a familiar friend, it's like somebody that I know and love hurt me. But you know what's interesting? Unlike his enemies, he does not ask God to destroy them.
Yeah.
He does not ask God to take vengeance for him. He says, "But thou, O Lord, be merciful unto me, and raise me up, that I may requite them." Now, I looked up the word requite because this was the good part, okay?
Okay. I have no clue
So,
what requite means.
To be safe in mind, body, or estate, figuratively to be or cause to make, completed. By implication, to be friendly, make amends, make an end, finish full, give again, make good, repay or pay again, make or to be at peace, or to be peaceable, that is perfect, perform, make prosper or prosperous, recompense, render, requite, make restitution, restore, reward. I was like mind blown, because this is something God has been, before I read these verses and looked this up, I felt there's a certain situation that I've been praying about that I'm like, okay, God, this kind of hurt, what do I do? And I felt God clearly tell me in my Bible reading, I was in Isaiah at the time, use some verses to tell me, I see you, you keep doing what's right, I will take care of the problem, and you don't say anything. I leave it to me.
Yeah.
So reading this, and so that's what I've been doing. I'm like, okay, I've been trying to do what's right, just trying to be a friend and keep my eyes on God. But then, sometimes it's like, oh, but Lord, should I be saying something? Is there something I can do to help the situation get better? Kind of like that. And then I read this, and when I read verse 10, so verse 9, I was like, oh yeah, a familiar friend that hurts, somebody. Like, okay, I get that. But then verse 10, when I read it and applied it to me, I'm like, whoa, God was confirming I was doing the right thing, because he's like, David shows by example that when a friend hurts us, we, instead of asking God to destroy them, because they're a child of God too, it's like, all right, be merciful to me. Give me the strength to still be a friend. What does it say?
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's 100% true.
Finish
sorry. Your sentence.
But give me the strength to still be who you want me to be the friend you want me to be friendly, to make amends, or just to help, to, let's see, what is that? Yeah, make amends, to just be at peace with them, to be peaceable.
Yeah.
And it was encouraging. I felt God say, no, you're doing the right thing.
Just
and I will
be friendly.
Be friendly.
Don't
nice.
hold anything against them.
Don't cause the problem.
Yes.
Work on making amends by living the way you're supposed to, and you'll be at peace with yourself, with other people, and with God.
And like Reagan said,
it was so encouraging. Yeah,
he believes God only mentions two groups that are friends of God. It says specifically that Abraham was a friend of God. But then those who follow God's commandments.
Yeah, I'm gonna look those
of God.
verses up.
I don't know if we have time.
Okay, well, I'm still gonna look them up. But still, yeah, that's a good point.
Anyway, so
but yeah,
that's probably gonna close out the podcast.
But I have to look these verses up. But they're so good. There it is. You are my friends if you do whatsoever I command you.
Awesome.
I'll just look up the one then. But anyway, that's really good.
Yeah, that's awesome. So
this was making me happy.
Your Bible reading.
My Bible reading, and God's peace that I am doing what's right.
Yeah.
And it's so nice, because there's nothing more torturous than to think you're doing what's wrong but not knowing what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why God is the final authority in His word.
So,
not others. I'm sorry.
With that being said, no, that's
so
fine.
Excited.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited too. But due to the fact that we are 10 minutes over, and both of us need to go to bed.
Yeah, that's true. Because he still has to drive home.
Yes, we should say goodbye.
Yep.
So today is our third to last episode.
Yep. This was supposed to be for Tuesday.
More
yep.
After this, that's it
for the season.
Our finale is going to be, I believe, with a guest.
No,
our finale will be without the guest.
Yes.
Okay. So we will have a guestless finale.
I mean, unless you choose to make it.
Before that, we will have a guest. We have one more guest coming on, and I'm actually really excited about this guest because this guest is just as much of a psycho as I am.
Yes, that's true.
She is just purely insane.
Yeah.
Hopefully I didn't offend you, but it's so hard.
She
doesn't get offended. She's very good at offending. That's why me and her are just so much fun talking to her.
Yeah.
We insult each other nonstop.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be fun. And then for the season finale, we're hoping to. I don't know what it's gonna be yet, but I'm hoping to do a little extra. So that's awesome.
So now that we've rambled on for an hour and 11 minutes at night.
And 46 seconds.
Yes.
We are going to say goodbye.
Yep.
And thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Reagan, for your input. That was very good points.
You got to be on the podcast at one point. I think this would be, I'd love to have you on. So, hit me up, actually in person, since we live in the same town now. That's insane. And I will talk